It's hard to believe that an NFL franchise once considered a proud cornerstone of American football reached the point where tickets to a major game sold for less than a cup of gas station coffee. Yet, that's exactly what happened when the Cleveland Browns faced the Minnesota Vikings. Rows of empty orange seats stretched across the stadium like a visual confession, a franchise abandoned by its own believers. What should have been a roaring home field advantage turned into a haunting echo chamber, a sea of silence broken only by the occasional stadium announcement bouncing off concrete and regret. The ticket market told the story better than any analyst could. Listings dropped from triple digits to single numbers in a matter of hours. $6, less than the price of a fast food combo meal. But this wasn't just a financial embarrassment. It was a message, a rebellion. Fans weren't staying home because of rain or a losing streak. They were making a point, and that point was aimed squarely at head coach Kevin Stefanski and his now infamous decision to bench the team's most electrifying player, rookie quarterback Shadur Sanders. Cameras captured it all. Wide shots showed a stadium that looked more like a forgotten training facility than a live professional venue. For Cleveland, it wasn't just about empty seats. It was about broken trust. What started as disappointment had evolved into open defiance. The $6 ticket wasn't a bargain. It was a statement. Something had snapped in this fan base, and the organization had no idea how deep the damage really went. When the news broke that Shadur Sanders would be benched for the Vikings matchup, Cleveland fans didn't just get upset. They revolted. Overnight, hashtags like #No Sanders, No Show, and #Fire. Stefanski began trending. Fans flooded comment sections, forums, and local sports radio, insisting they were done supporting a franchise that refused to give their most exciting rookie a chance. It wasn't just disappointment, it was coordinated silence. Season ticket holders tried unloading seats online for pennies, while thousands more simply stayed home. The empty stands became a collective act of protest that management couldn't spin away. Stefanski's offense without Sanders felt lifeless. A vanilla, conservative scheme that stripped away the very energy fans were promised during the offseason. The crowd's message was unmistakable. If you're not going to give us a reason to believe, we're not buying the show. And for the first time in decades, Cleveland's fan base wasn't just angry. They were united. United in their absence. The boycott disguised itself as apathy, but underneath was a loud, strategic rebellion against an organization that seemed more loyal to process than passion. Before we dive deeper, a quick reminder. If you're interested in stories that peel back the layers behind the headlines, the drama, the business, the power struggles, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit like if you're enjoying the deep dive and drop a comment below with your take. Should coaches stick to tradition or should they listen to the fans? Your voice actually helps shape what we cover next. Inside team headquarters, panic quietly replaced confidence. What started as a ticket sales issue evolved into an existential crisis for the Browns' leadership. Owner Jimmy Haslam reportedly held emergency meetings with executives after watching camera footage of entire sections left deserted. Sponsorship teams fielded calls from corporate partners asking uncomfortable questions about brand visibility. Television partners started whispering about backup scheduling options. Behind the scenes, the illusion of control was dissolving. Kevin Stefanski, the once respected strategist hailed for his analytical approach, now looked like a man at war with his own fan base. According to insiders, he paced the sideline before kickoff, scanning the crowd and realizing this wasn't a late arrival. This was a deliberate absence. Assistants described him as tense, short-tempered, visibly shaken. His sideline composure cracked when the realization set in. The people he coached for were no longer watching. And in the NFL, perception often becomes reality faster than any scoreboard. What made the situation worse was his public response. When reporters asked whether Sanders' benching was tied to declining attendance, Stefanski fired back, "We make football decisions based on preparation, not ticket sales." To him, it was a firm statement of principle. To fans, it was arrogance. Overnight, that quote became gasoline on an already blazing fire. The fallout spread like wildfire across digital platforms. Sports media outlets replayed Stefanski's press conference clip on repeat, YouTubers, podcasters, and TikTok creators dissected the footage of the empty stadium, calling it the most embarrassing moment in modern Browns history. On Reddit, fans analyzed aerial photos of the stadium, counting empty rows like forensic investigators. What had started as a local embarrassment now evolved into a national headline, a symbol of disconnection between leadership and loyalty. One viral post summarized the sentiment perfectly. "You can't sell out $6 tickets in football-crazy Cleveland. That's not a fan problem. That's a coaching failure." It racked up over 1 million impressions overnight. Former players weighed in, analysts debated the Sanders effect, and by the next morning, every major network had turned Cleveland's attendance fiasco into front-page content. The Browns weren't just losing games, they were losing their identity. Even rival fan bases joined in. Memes compared the Browns' stadium to high school bleachers. ESPN segments questioned if Stefanski's process-over-passion approach was outdated in a social media-driven era. Cleveland, once hopeful of an AFC run, had become a cautionary tale about how quickly public sentiment can flip when a franchise ignores its emotional core. Money started disappearing faster than morale. Nielsen data revealed that the Browns Vikings broadcast drew the lowest ratings of any nationally televised preseason game in 5 years. Advertisers quietly requested make goods, sponsors reevaluated contracts, and internal projections showed millions in potential losses. The numbers told the truth that no press conference could hide. Without Sanders, Cleveland was an unwatchable product. Inside the league office, executives took notice. For years, the NFL had preached a balance between tradition and entertainment, but the Browns' collapse proved that balance might no longer exist. One network insider allegedly said off-record, "We've never seen a single player's absence nuke our ratings like this." Suddenly, Sanders wasn't just a rookie quarterback. He was an economic catalyst. His benching didn't just bruise morale. It hit the league's wallet. Meanwhile, the Browns' marketing department entered full-scale damage control. They slashed ticket prices, launched giveaways, even offered free concessions. Nothing worked. The $6 ticket had become a symbol, a protest banner wrapped in price tags. Corporate suites sat empty, and renewal requests dropped off a cliff. Cleveland had built its season on hype, and now that hype had turned into the loudest silence in the NFL. Behind closed doors, the locker room felt the weight. Veterans tried to defend the coaching staff publicly, but privately, some admitted that the energy was gone. Younger players whispered about how the fans weren't wrong. Sanders brought excitement, hope, and a spark that every struggling team needs. His benching made them question whether management even wanted to win in today's NFL, or just maintain appearances. It wasn't mutiny, but the cracks were spreading fast. Stefanski's philosophy, earn your spot, trust the process, respect the depth chart, made sense in an earlier era. But in 2025, football is as much entertainment as it is competition. Every snap, every personality, every storyline drives engagement, revenue, and identity. The modern NFL doesn't reward patience, it rewards relevance. And in that equation, Cleveland's stubbornness was costing them everything. League insiders began whispering about the Cleveland model as a warning. Analysts said Stefanski was fighting yesterday's battles. His refusal to adapt wasn't discipline, it was denial. The message from fans was clear: play Sanders, or watch the stands stay empty. The Browns were now living proof that you can lose the game long before kickoff if you ignore the people who buy the tickets. The Browns' $6 ticket disaster will be remembered as more than a marketing failure. It's a turning point in the NFL's evolution. It exposed the delicate balance between sports and entertainment, between coaching philosophy and consumer demand. In a league built on passion, silence has become the loudest protest. The empty orange seats of Cleveland aren't just an image. They're a warning to every franchise that forgets who really owns the game: the fans. Kevin Stefanski now stands at a crossroads. He can cling to principles that no longer connect, or he can evolve before the market makes that decision for him. Because in today's NFL, adaptation isn't optional, it's survival. You can't coach in an empty stadium and pretend everything's fine. The numbers, the cameras, and the fans will always tell the real story. And if you've stayed with this video until now, you're exactly the kind of viewer this channel was built for. Someone who loves uncovering what really happens behind the scenes. So, take a second to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts on this situation. Should coaches protect tradition or embrace entertainment? Your opinion fuels these investigations, and your support helps this growing community keep digging for the truth that others won't show.